Yeah. Yeah. Love stories, lifelines, human situations. Tune in right now for the conversation. Raise on the mic, keeping it true, bringing the world a little closer to you. Turn it up, get ready to flow. You're locked into the Ray Love Show. Real life, real love, let it show. Welcome to the Ray Love Show.
What's going on, guys? This is your boy Ray, and you are watching the Ray Love Show today. Today, we got some content for y'all, man. Bringing another one, man, with my guy. He basically just gonna speak about some things that went wrong in a relationship, and this guy had to come forward about everything. Basically, he killed his wife and burnt her body and crushed her bones and body up and stuff like that. And, you know, we ain't gonna talk a whole lot about that. We're gonna get back to it. Make sure you like, you comment, and you subscribe to the channel. With that said, let's get to the show.
Yo, what's up, guys? It's your favorite everything, JR Wisdom, and today I'm going to be talking about an unfortunate event that occurred between a husband and wife that had a successful business going on in San Antonio, Texas, and ultimately things fell apart due to a lot of secrets, some cheating, side dudes, relationships, and ultimately the wife ended up losing her life in this entire situation, which a lot of you should take note when it comes to cheating or dealing with women that are younger or just dealing with women that aren't in the best position financially. And hey, you swoop in to save her from a lifestyle and things happen. So if you guys don't know the story I'm talking about, this story is about an Air Force major that goes by the name of Andreen McDonald. Now, Andreen McDonald, as I said, was an Air Force major. He was in cybersecurity. He was in that field in the Air Force. And he happened to go down to Port Antonio, which is where he's originally from, for a family member's funeral back in 2009. While he was down in Jamaica, he met up with a young lady who was 10 years younger than him named Andreen. Andreen was 19 years old at the time, and she had dreams of making it big, had ideas, but she just couldn't make it happen in Jamaica. So they met up with each other in May 2009, and within months, he married her and he brought her to the States. So when he brought her to the States, they started up some successful businesses, which it was pretty much her idea to start these businesses, but he cashed out his 401k to start the business up, and they became multimillionaires within a matter of years. Now, Andreen was heavy into fitness. She was a go-getter. She was very loved within the San Antonio community, but she had some secrets as well. Throughout this entire time, while they were doing big things with this home assistant housing company that they had, she secretly wanted to be back with her old flame, who she dated when she was a teenager. His name was Aubyn Hall. Now, Aubyn Hall was back in Jamaica. He became a businessman, and supposedly in this whole situation, she was sending money back to him, and she ended up actually going on a trip, a humanitarian trip, back in 2017, where she rekindled and started this affair with Aubyn Hall, who was basically her high school sweetheart. Now, this affair went on for a year, and to the point where she actually got matching tattoos with this gentleman, where she got his birth date and an A, which I guess she thought she was gonna fool it because her name starts with A, her husband's name starts with an A, but she put Buddy's birthday on her as well. So my man, being in cybersecurity, he did some digging, did some research, and he found out about Aubyn, and he basically gave his wifey for life an ultimatum saying, listen, you're gonna cover up that tattoo, you're gonna cut Good Buddy off, and that's gonna be that. And supposedly everything was good. He had his 40th birthday party. Everything was all nice. Her and her husband were supposedly put everything behind them, and they weren't going to be dealing. Aubyn was supposed to be a thing of the past. But shortly after this time, when she got this tattoo covered up, she went missing on March the 1st, 2019, just months later. And how she became missing, because the husband didn't report it, it was the mother or the mother-in-law, the mother who reported, hey, I haven't been able, she's broken her routine. She's a gym rat. She hasn't been picking up her phone. The husband was like, I can't find her either. The cops show up. He goes up to the hospital. Basically is like, hey, I found her here. But come to find out she wasn't at the hospital. He was just lying. There was another McDonald there. And basically they couldn't find her. There was no evidence. There was evidence of a struggle and things like that, but there was no proof of any foul play. They couldn't find anything they couldn't find anything that would lead to her. They just thought she just up and left. Maybe she ran away with the boyfriend back in Jamaica or what have you. So that was March 1st, 2019. So they kept questioning him, and eventually he stopped cooperating and he lawyered up at this point. So a few months later in July, summertime, things always, what happens in the wintertime, things always happen in the summer and things get revealed. Her body gets found, or her skull gets found, basically by, I guess it was like a farmer or something like that, saying that he thought it was a cow skull and he was going to try to remove it with a tractor. And it was a woman's remains in this field. So basically they found Buddy. This is after he had already been taken in or whatever. There was a psych eval done on him. They found him. The Air Force released him after the psych eval because he tried to purchase a weapon. Supposedly he was going to self-delete and things like that. And he was arrested for doing this to his wife. So he ends up being released out on bail. He hires the best attorneys in San Antonio, and years go by. This happened in 2019 when he was arrested. Years go by to where he's not saying anything. They interrogated. He's not basically saying nothing. And then just before the trial is about to start, he calls up his mom, and his mom calls up his wife's parents, and he confesses to them over the phone what he did, basically saying that he set her body on fire. They got into an argument first because when they went to file their taxes, he found out that she was starting another company, and supposedly with this company, she was funneling money, and she was planning on leaving him from what she started and things like that. And supposedly he also found out that just before this, months before, that she was cheating with Aubyn. So this is more than enough motive that, hey, I got this younger woman. She's with this dude back in Jamaica. She's probably funding his business with our money. And here she is talking and starting another company without telling me. So he says they get into an argument over that, and he ends up kicking her twice, and she ends up passing away by kicking her twice. Their daughter, Elena, walks. He hears her footsteps. He puts her to bed and basically just leaves his wife's body there. Then he goes and dumps his wife's body in the woods later. Then comes back later on, sets her on fire, the corpse on fire, then bashes the corpse with a hammer, which they find, which is completely overkill because he's confessing that he was just that mad that he had to do this, right? Which is like straight up crazy. So he does all this and basically said it was self-defense because his wife squats 300 pounds. So he couldn't beat up his wife. She was in shape. She was 10 years younger than him. At the end of the day, he didn't get convicted of murder, but he did get convicted of manslaughter and got sentenced to 20 years over this stuff. Guys, just lose it. This is just crazy what this dude did. He made it this far out of the streets of Port Antonio, Jamaica. Wife made it too. They were millionaires, and he goes and does this. And it just goes to show, man, fellas, sometimes your wife, sometimes they use you to get in a better position. Sometimes they just don't want you anymore. But even though you told her, hey, you don't care if you get a divorce, you brought this man in our relationship, bro, your daughter is being raised by the family members. You got millions of dollars, man. You can get another woman. I know it hurts, but that's what happens, man. That's crazy. Fellas, don't ever do that.